At a specialized center for autistic children, a stern military officer and his wife arrive in search of help for their son, Wolf. The father, rigid and unyielding, explains how constant military transfers have disrupted Wolf's life, making it harder for him to adjust. At that moment, the institute's director offers a solution: enroll Wolf in a structured, supportive program. But the father rejects it. To him, the world won't change for Wolf, so Wolf must change for the world. In the waiting room, Wolf sits alone on the floor, piecing together a puzzle. He rocks gently, murmuring a rhyme, lost in his own rhythm. When he realizes a piece is missing, stress takes over, until a girl silently hands it to him. Just like that, peace returns. The moment is small, but it says everything about how much he depends on routine and completion. Years pass. Wolf, now grown, works as an accountant. He assists an elderly couple with calm efficiency, organizing their finances and suggesting smart, practical solutions. The husband, Rice, moved by Wolf's quiet competence, invites him to their farm, offering a rare gesture of friendship and a chance for Wolf to reconnect with something that brings him joy: shooting practice. At the U.S. Treasury Department, Director Ray King summons a data analyst named Medina. He acknowledges her skill but questions her drive. Then he pulls out a file, her arrest record from years ago. With cold precision, he uses it to force her hand. She has two options: take on a covert assignment or risk everything. Her task is clear: track down an elusive accountant known for handling money for violent criminals and eliminating threats when needed. Ray gives her a deadline: the end of the month. No excuses. Elsewhere, Wolf returns to his secluded home. He eats alone, moves through a rigid routine, and ends the night with a strange ritual: blasting metal music, switching on harsh floodlights, and pressing a wooden rod into his legs. It's a methodical attempt to quiet a memory that still haunts him: his mother walking out one Christmas. After his medication, he finally sleeps. The next day, Wolf joins Rice at his farm for target practice. What follows leaves Rice and his wife stunned. Wolf doesn't miss a single shot. Later, he drives to a hidden storage unit. Inside is no ordinary trailer. It's a secret vault, loaded with luxury goods, high-value art, foreign currency, and military-grade weapons. As he rests, his mind drifts back to prison, where his former cellmate, Francis, taught him everything: how to blend in, how to manage criminal finances, and how to clean dirty money without leaving a trace. Wolf's quiet routine is broken by a call. On the other end is a British woman, his secret partner, known only as Voice. She warns him: take safer jobs or risk being noticed. Wolf scans a list of new offers and selects one from a tech firm, Living Robotics. It's a new assignment, simple on the surface, but beneath the numbers lies something deeper, something dangerous. The next day, Wolf meets with Rita and Ed, executives at the company. They explain their problem. Their accountant, Dana, uncovered missing money. They need someone who can find out where it went. At that moment, Wolf agrees to take the case. He asks for everything: 10 years of records, full account access, client lists. Ed doubts him, but Wolf stays focused. As the meeting ends, Wolf runs into Lamar, the company's founder. Lamar makes it clear he expects results.
I need you to be my eyes and ears, Chris. Whatever you need to do your job, you let me know.
Elsewhere, Medina digs deeper into the case. She finds a grainy surveillance photo showing part of the mystery man's face. She sends it to facial recognition analysts, pushing to uncover his identity before time runs out. Meanwhile, in a dark parking garage in Switzerland, Brax, a feared contract killer, strikes. He slips into a parked car, puts a gun to the driver's head, and delivers a threat. The message is simple: stop stealing from others, or next time there won't be a warning. The man swears to stop. Brax vanishes into the shadows. At Living Robotics, Wolf starts his assignment. He enters the conference room and finds a woman asleep at the table. It's Dana, the company accountant who first discovered the missing money. She expects to collaborate, but Wolf shuts her out. He prefers silence. Dana, visibly let down, walks out. Soon, Wolf gets to work. He transforms the room into a command center: whiteboards, glass walls, and every surface filled with numbers and connections. Hours pass. Finally, he cracks it. He pinpoints where the money went and how it was hidden. At the same time, Medina is working alone in her home. She listens to a chilling audio recording on repeat. Using forensic tools, she isolates a voice, a man whispering a nursery rhyme while carrying out a killing. The detail is small, but for Medina, it's a breakthrough. She's closing in. The next morning, Wolf calls Dana into the workspace and lays out his findings. Someone has been funneling company money into a fake shell corporation. Before they can go deeper, Rita storms in, demanding answers about the numbers scrawled across the glass walls. In response, Wolf calmly walks her through the scheme, impressing her with the clarity of his work, but he admits the identity of the thief is still unknown.
Who did it? Best guess.
I don't guess.
That night, Brax pays an unannounced visit to Ed, a living robotics executive. He hands him a vial of insulin and delivers a threat with precision. Ed must inject himself and make it look like doing the unthinkable, ensuring his wife receives the insurance payout or refuse and put his entire family in danger. Trapped, Ed obeys. The following day, Wolf returns to find janitors erasing his detailed analysis from the windows. He rushes to stop them, panicked. Moments later, Lamar arrives with devastating news. Ed is gone. Lamar believes guilt from stealing company funds pushed Ed over the edge. He tells Wolf to shut down the investigation immediately. For Wolf, the sudden halt is unbearable. The work was unfinished, and for him, that's not something he can accept. That night, alone in his home, Wolf retreats into his strict routine. He turns on loud heavy metal music, subjects himself to intense physical pressure therapy, trying to shut out the chaos and restore order in his mind. The next morning, Wolf steps out of his car, aware of two men trailing him. He doesn't react. Instead, he drives to Rice's home for another round of target practice. As he shoots, memories flood back, brutal training sessions from childhood. His father had pushed him and his brother through relentless drills under a hired martial arts coach. Even when they were beaten and exhausted, their father forced them to keep going. The coach quit. The father didn't.
Tidak apa-apa. Lanjutkan saja.
Shortly after, the two men following Wolf break into Rice's home, taking him and his wife hostage. They force her to call Wolf, pretending all is well. As one of the attackers walks her to the door, Wolf fires from a distance, silent and accurate. The man drops. The second intruder panics, shoving Rice and his wife into a truck to escape. Seeing this, Wolf shoots the engine, jumps onto the vehicle, and rips the man out. Using a belt, he restrains him and demands answers. The man claims he doesn't know who ordered the hit, only that the targets were Wolf and Dana. With nothing else to give, Wolf ends it. He tells Rice to call the police and speeds toward Dana's apartment. At the parking garage, Wolf spots a man shadowing Dana into the elevator. He takes the stairs to stay out of sight. Reaching her floor, he walks into a fight. Gunfire and hand-to-hand combat erupt in the hallway. Inside, two men posing as delivery workers force their way into Dana's apartment. She fights back and locks herself in the bathroom. One attacker breaks through, but before he can reach her, Wolf storms in and neutralizes both men. Without hesitation, he tells Dana they have to leave now. Brax, the man behind the failed hit on Wolf and Dana, receives word that his team has been eliminated. Furious, he realizes too late that Wolf is far more dangerous than expected. Elsewhere, Wolf brings Dana to his hidden trailer. He tells her to wait, but her curiosity takes over. Inside, she's stunned. Walls lined with weapons, piles of cash, rare valuables. She demands answers. Wolf avoids most of her questions and stays guarded. Instead, he urges her to stay focused. They need to keep moving. Meanwhile, Medina receives new information. Experts analyzing the audio file note a strange detail. The suspect repeats nursery rhymes under stress, possibly tied to childhood trauma or a neurological condition. Driven to close in, Medina heads to the IRS and starts matching the voice data with taxpayers reporting unusually high income. Not long after, Wolf and Dana hide out at an upscale hotel. Finally, Dana confronts him about his combat skills. Wolf reveals pieces of his past, his father's military training, constant pressure to be stronger, and the social isolation caused by his autism. He admits it's hard to connect, even when he wants to. The moment turns quiet. Dana leans in, but Wolf pulls away, unsure. To break the tension, he shifts the focus, uncovering a key detail. The thief at Living Robotics didn't just take the money, they reinvested it, turning the stolen funds into even bigger profits. Dana begins to suspect that Rita might be behind the embezzlement, but Wolf urges restraint. He wants proof before making a move and decides to confront Rita himself. Later, Wolf tracks her to her apartment complex. Upon arriving, he spots a familiar figure, Brax, watching from a distance. Wolf follows, but Brax catches on and opens fire. Wolf narrowly escapes and keeps up the chase. The pursuit leads him straight to Rita's door. Inside, he finds her already dead, shot before he arrived. It's enough to confirm what he suspected. The real mastermind isn't Rita. It's Lamar, the man at the top of living robotics. At the same time, Medina keeps working through IRS records. With her partner's help, she finally uncovers the truth. The mystery accountant is Wolf. He's been operating through a small firm, hiding income through cash-only operations. But what surprises her most is that nearly all his earnings are quietly donated to a neuroscience foundation. With the case breaking open, Medina calls Ray immediately. She has a name. At the hotel, Wolf finds Dana asleep on the couch. The sight stirs old memories, his father pushing him and his brother into brutal fights with school bullies, forcing them to toughen up. At that moment, Wolf realizes that Dana is now a target because of him. To protect her, he makes a hard choice. He packs his things, leaves a note, and disappears. In the note, he tells her she deserves someone else, someone who can return the feelings he can't. Elsewhere, Ray and Medina lead a search team into Wolf's home. Inside, they find weapons that aren't registered, an advanced security system, and a living space built for control and isolation. Meanwhile, Brax receives new orders from Lamar, the man behind everything. Lamar expects a final showdown and instructs Brax to install hidden cameras in his home. He's preparing for Wolf. Back at Wolf's house, as the search ends, Ray and Medina talk alone. Ray asks about her sealed arrest record. Medina tells him the truth. She once tried to kill the drug dealer who supplied her brother. She doesn't regret it. Ray nods, then admits how long he's been chasing Wolf and how impossible it was to catch him. Ray recalls a turning point in his long pursuit of Wolf. He had been at the same hotel where a now infamous audio recording captured Wolf executing a target. After the incident, Wolf held Ray at gunpoint and asked if he was a good father. Ray said yes. Wolf let him go.
Were you a good dad, Raymond King?
Yeah, I've been a good dad.
To Ray, that moment was a warning to walk away. Later, when he was close to abandoning the case, Ray got a call from a British woman. She had inside knowledge about criminal networks and agreed to share it. That call reignited his investigation. She became one of his most valuable informants. As the case grew, Ray also tracked down Wolf's former cellmate, Francis. It was revealed that Francis had worked inside the prison system helping criminals clean money. Secretly, he was also informing for the government, but once released, those he betrayed found him. He was captured, tortured, and killed.
He had Francis in a couple hours. Down in a filthy basement in the Bronx, nailed to a chair. Tortured to death. So
When Wolf learned about his death, he snapped. He broke out of prison and vanished. Ray then reflects on what led to Wolf's prison sentence. Years earlier, Wolf had gone to his mother's funeral with his father. But they weren't welcome. She had started a new life, with a new husband and 2 neurotypical sons. The rejection hit Wolf hard. Struggling to control his emotions, he lost control and caused a public outburst. A security guard pulled a gun. In a split second, Wolf's father stepped between them and was shot. The loss of both parents in one moment shattered Wolf. He was arrested and sentenced. Prison followed. In the present, Medina is taken aback by Ray's revelations. She asks why he's sharing so much. Ray explains he's retiring in 7 months, and he wants her to take over his role, including handling the calls from the British informant. At that moment, the phone inside Wolf's house rings. Medina answers. On the line is the British woman, offering urgent intel about the robotics company. At the same time, at Lamar's estate, Brax prepares for battle. He knows Wolf is coming. His team is ready, but it's not enough. One by one, Wolf takes them down, precise and unstoppable. He leaves one alive just long enough to extract details about the building's layout. Watching from the control room, Brax directs his men, but they fall quickly. Wolf, even injured, outmaneuvers them all. Then, through the security feed, Brax hears a familiar sound, Wolf's voice. In that moment, the truth hits him. The man he's been hunting is his own brother. Brax flashes back to their brutal childhood, shaped by a father who demanded obedience and strength.
I again.
And now the same nursery rhyme Wolf always mumbled during fights confirms it. Stunned, Brax freezes, then gives a new order. He tells his team to stand down. Not long after, Brax comes face to face with Wolf. His fury erupts. Years of silence, abandonment, and betrayal boil to the surface. He demands to know why Wolf vanished for over a decade. His rage grows as he brings up their mother's funeral, blaming her for walking away and Wolf for their father's death. Brax lashes out physically. Wolf takes it without resistance, standing still as the blows land. Then, with a single precise hit, Wolf drops him, ending the outburst. When the tension breaks, Wolf raises his gun, not to threaten, but to keep control. Slowly, the brothers begin to talk. The anger starts to fade. Bit by bit, they begin to face the damage between them and try to rebuild what was lost. Suddenly, Lamar storms in. Confused and angry, he demands answers. He wants to know why Brax hasn't finished the job. Before he can say more, Wolf ends it. One clean shot. Lamar falls. The room goes quiet. The brothers return to their conversation. Before leaving, Wolf tells Brax they'll meet again in a week once the heat dies down. Sometime later, new parents arrive at the Central Neuroscience Institute, the same place Wolf once visited as a child. They're desperate to help their young autistic son. The boy is brought into a room and introduced to a girl named Justine, the daughter of the institute's director. She's the same girl who, years ago, gave a missing puzzle piece to the young Wolf. The director explains that Justine is nonverbal, but uses an advanced laptop to speak. When she types, the voice that answers are unmistakable, a calm British accent, the same one that has guided Wolf for years. It's revealed that since their childhood meeting, Wolf and Justine stayed connected, their bond hidden behind anonymous messages and encrypted calls. In the final scene, Dana cleans up her apartment, still recovering from everything that happened. Then a package arrives, no return address. Inside is a classical painting. Curious, she peels back the outer canvas. Beneath it is a priceless original, the same one she once saw in Wolf's trailer. No note, no message, just the painting, a silent gesture that says everything. And with that, the story comes to a close. So the moral of the story is, never mess with an autistic accountant. He'll balance your books, expose your crimes, and still file your taxes on time.